I mean, for us, it was sort of a natural progression of our existing business in that we already have a production company where we're making films and television drama. We have a distribution company where we release films into cinemas and release the DVD. And exhibition, or owning a cinema, is something it was a passion we'd long harboured, to be honest. And we had looked at trying to develop a cinema, an upmarket art house cinema in the sort of early 2000s, when the figures just didn't stack up because of the whole property boom. So we had put a lot of thought and energy and invested some time and money into trying to make that happen. So when the opportunity came along to take on the Lighthouse, it wasn't a very hard decision for us, really. I mean, obviously, we were taking it on in difficult circumstances, and economically the climate is very challenging at the moment. But we were confident. It's a stunningly beautiful cinema. It's quite a unique venue, arguably, in the world. I mean, you know, we've travelled quite a lot for film festivals and we see a lot of cinemas around the world, and really there's nothing to compare to the Lighthouse, I would contend. So I think for us it was quite an easy decision one way. It did involve quite a very significant investment and commitment. But I suppose our central thesis is that while cinema going, the sort of habits are changing, there is definitely an audience for for cinema in a nice environment, and what we're offering here is something distinct from a multiplex experience. So it's very much it's an opportunity to come to a cinema where it's comfortable seating, great projection, great sound, and you're not surrounded by kids on their mobile phones texting and munching their way through the film.
I mean, most movies are made to be seen in the cinema. You know, most filmmakers make films to be seen in the cinema, even if actually ultimately that's not the place where most eyeballs will encounter their film. But any director I've ever worked with is not thinking about how will this film play on television, or how will it play on the internet, or how will it play on DVD. They're thinking about how will it play in the cinema. So the best place to see a movie is in the cinema, because that was the intention of the person who made it. That's normally a fact. And the other big thing about it, going to the cinema, is that you are cut off from distraction. Even though, you know, it's a communal experience, you are cut off from, you know, the ability to just get up and go and boil a kettle and flick to the other channel and, you know, have a chat with somebody beside you, because generally people don't speak too much in the cinema, I mean, apart from making comments to each other. So it's a really concentrated way to experience a movie, and I always have that, and I think lots of people do always have that experience of kind of, you know, when you've been in a cinema and you watch a film, it's a much more intense experience than watching a film at home or in any other environment. And it's that thing of, you know, when you walk out of the cinema, and if it was a comedy and a feel-good comedy, you can feel elated, or if it was something that was incredibly grueling, you really feel that you've been through a kind of an emotional experience, you've had a kind of really intense experience. Always much more so, it's much more intense and more concentrated than the same kind of experience on a smaller screen. Here at the Lighthouse we have satellite links, we have 3D, we're, you know, almost fully digitized, we'll be fully digitalized on all our screens. We also have 35mm. So we're actually looking at a kind of a much more, I suppose, audience-oriented way of programming films, you know, and it's not just about whatever the next great art house film is that should be seen because it's on the release schedule. But as Andrew says, it's about pulling out classics and interesting filmmakers, and also crucially having filmmakers interact with the audience here in the Lighthouse as well, so that people come and talk about their films.